everybody. It's
Hey.
Yolanda.
And Suzette.
And we are here. She is off teaching and speaking in all different forms. And although I miss her, I am so excited to have Suzette in the studio with me for season 2. Well, actually, it's kind of like season 4, but season 2 of the return of On the Rise. And we are so excited. Lots of new shows this season.
Lots of them. And I'm so excited to be a part of this series.
Yes, I'm so excited too. I'm so glad that I'm able to get her because she has so much wonderful things going on in her life as well. So I am honored to have her sitting in the chair next to me. So
I am honored to be here.
Awesome.
I got big shoes to fill with Dr. Angel, who has her passion planner with her, I'm sure.
I'm sure she does. She's gonna crack up when she's gonna crack up when she hears that.
I know.
But anyway, we just wanted to remind you before we jump into everything. Don't forget to go and check us out on social media on the Rise Talk on Facebook and Instagram, and On the Rise Talk Show on YouTube. And if you want to see or talk to the amazing Suzette Salandy, she has her Susie Q's she puts out every day or during the week. So you can go ahead and check her out at
Official I Am Suzette on Instagram and I Am Suzette on Facebook.
Yes. So go ahead and stop by, like, subscribe, comment. We want to hear from you guys and see if this content that we're bringing to you this season is so beneficial to you. We are, again, excited. We're going to be introducing a new series. And this is why we're kind of jumping into this today. So we're going to go ahead and get into it.
Yep.
And we're going to do a series on women and wealth.
Yeah. You and I were having a great conversation about the wealthy mindset, right? And that's really where we kind of just ran with the idea of this needs to be a series.
Yes. I mean, because, one of the things that, we always talk about is that wealth and success it means something different to different people.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Some people, they think like wealth and success is traveling the world, right? Being able to travel the world. Some people see it as spending time with their kids.
Right.
I always say that part of wealth is your health, right?
Yeah. Health is wealth.
How can you be wealthy without your health, right? Because healthy is wealthy, right?
Yeah.
Because we can't earn, we can't see or have make all those great memories if we're not taking care of ourselves. And so Dr. Angela and I did a whole series
on
self-care, taking care of yourself, different ways we can take care of ourselves, because at the root of being wealthy and having a wealthy mindset is us taking care of ourselves, right?
Yep.
And I always say that for me, success is freedom.
Yeah. And I love how you say success is freedom, right? Yes. Success is being on purpose for me, right? Living what it is you were called to do. Yes. That's wealthy. That's success.
Yes.
Right? And I think wealth and success are kind of like a married couple.
They are. Because I think that the mindset that we have around wealth and success determines how we ultimately live.
Yep.
Right. So I love when you say living on purpose. That is a sense of freedom, because how many of us actually get to be free enough to do that?
Exactly.
Right. And so I feel like freedom is always that underlying tenet of why, right? We want to be successful and wealthy because we want that time. It's really about time.
Yeah.
Right. Being able to do the things that we love to do, being able to do the things we feel led to do, and actually creating space and time for that. So.
And I love how you framed that. What is it you said about time? Time is a what?
It's a non-renewable resource. You can get more money. Y'all can get more shoes. You can get more stuff, but no one can give themselves more time unless you got you're doing that whole Marvel Universe thing.
Right.
Where you going off into tangents or something like that. And I don't have that.
No,
that power.
I don't have any superpowers. I mean, none that I want to share right now.
I know you have superpowers.
So I just really don't want to get into
time
what
travel.
My superpowers are.
Time travel's not it.
Yeah, but time travel isn't that. Yeah.
So I think that we have to be, very honest about, get to the root of what are you really trying to achieve with your success and your wealth. And so I think we're going to delve into that because Suzette and I want to kind of give you the why, right?
Yeah.
Why choose to do a series on wealth and women? And I think it boils down to like a conversation we were having one day, right?
Right. Where we were just kind of, gauging insights on what it is to be wealthy. Right. Why growing up we never really thought about the wealthy mindset.
Exactly.
You know, you said it best. You said our parents focused on paying bills.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And for us, the next generation, we're trying to kind of extend ourselves to the next level.
Yes.
And what does that look like, especially as women?
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Because the dynamics, and, you know, we did a little research on this, the dynamics behind women in wealth in America is changing very rapidly.
Ever changing.
Right?
Ever changing.
It's saying by like 2030, American women are expected to control as much as $30 trillion in financial assets that the baby boomers possess.
Yeah, we run the world, girls. We run the world, girls. Who run the world, girls.
And it's crazy because one of the other statistics that today, like in our society today, women in the United States control $10.9 trillion in assets. Wow. Okay, that number was mind blowing.
Yeah. For me, that was like, what?
That was mind blowing.
We do what?
It's a lot of money. And so then it led me to the question of, what are we doing with it?
Yeah. How are we investing?
Right. Yeah. And what are some of the things that we are investing in to really, you know, grow our wealth and our it's not even like spending power, but it's more buying and spending power. It's just like, what are we doing to really invest, and what types of things are we investing in? Right.
Are we as are we as risky as men in terms of investing, or are we less risk tolerant?
Actually, women are not very risk tolerant.
Right.
And I think some of that really hurts us on the back end, right? Because I don't know if you all realize it, but women tend to live at least 5 years longer than men.
Yeah.
So that means we need more money to survive, because we actually live a longer life. And the truth of the matter is that a lot of us, when we're hitting that age, if we're divorced or we're single, we've never saved for our future, are actually living in poverty and not really living, you know, as they say, our best life when we're older, because now we don't have money to take care of, like,
because we're taking care of everybody else.
Yes.
Because that's what we tend to do. We're nurturers by nature. And I think that's the biggest issue as well.
Yes. And there's actually more women who are actually heads of household now.
Yeah.
So I think this topic is very key for that, because I know, like, you're head of household in your house.
Yeah, I am.
Right.
Absolutely.
So it is definitely a thing of, you know, we really need to be able to look at that and see how we're spending our money and what we're investing in. We need our money to be working for us when we are sleeping.
Yeah. And investing in more stocks. And, you know, I think we are big 401k people and things of that nature. And, you know, we need to be understanding more about like portfolios and what funds and what stocks. We need to be talking to more investment advisors in terms of how can we step out and be a bit more riskier than, I think we're more conservative in terms of, you know, what we do with our money.
Yes, we tend to be. But you know what? I literally just read a study in the Wall Street Journal that is saying that less men are going to college in furthering their education. So that means in terms of being heads of household, y'all, it's about to grow. And that statistic that we showed you from, we got these statistics from the McKinsey group,
McKinsey
and they talk
group.
about, and they do a lot of research on trends in the markets and stuff. And so we're about to, I don't know if you heard that trend, but we're about to control a whole lot more money. And not that, they said 2030, y'all. That's only 9 years.
Right.
So we need to get ourselves together and really figure out a plan for moving forward. And I don't know about you, but COVID-19 affected a lot.
Well, let's talk about COVID. I was about to say, I think that's where a lot of women were like, let's just do it. I'm gonna start my own business, you know, work from home. They wanted to spend more time with their kids.
I don't really think they had a choice in that, because the schools were closed.
Pivot.
So.
The name of the game was pivot.
Right.
And so, you know, as you were talking about how we're going to continue to boost in the marketplace. Yep. We started more companies. I have my own business. You have your own business, you know, and we're starting to really see us propel more into that stratosphere of, you know, being at the table, you know, and making the money. And I think we need to understand that as we're at the table, it's okay to take a little bit of risk and
Amen.
not be as conservative. You know, listen, we can do what some of the boys do.
Amen. And I think and that all comes with financial literacy and education, right?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of money and stuff in motion right now. They were talking about how like everybody's reevaluating their financial circumstances, and there is this huge push for more financial advisement.
Absolutely.
People want to learn more about how to manage their money better. Some people found themselves in situations that they never thought they would see themselves in, right?
And that's where, you know, COVID, and again, pivoting, where you had to start to reassess, you know, funds and how you begin to invest. And, you know, a lot of people were without jobs and just trying to decide, okay, how do I make this work? So, yeah. It was, I would say, the domino effect of the stock market, the global stock market, the impact of that. What did that mean? And we continue to see, you know, some of the outcomes with the vaccines and all that other stuff.
Yes. And so people are making different choices about work. And when I say work, I don't mean just holding a job. I mean work as far as, like you said, having a business or doing something on the side and growing, you know, finding multiple streams of income.
Yep.
Right. And that's what feeds us into wealth. We're just making ourselves, we have more than one source of income that can sustain us through a crisis.
Yeah.
Or when things go wrong. That's one of the reasons I was like, I think this is a great series that we need to do.
This series is a must, I think, for us in terms of when we address truly what is wealth.
Yes.
And how women look at being in a wealthy mindset and understanding how one should pivot as they think about living a life of wealth.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think we were joking about this earlier, saying we don't have those Beyonce dollars.
No, we don't.
But you don't have to have Beyonce dollars in order to, you know, make a difference in your finances. I think like one of the things I always say to people is that you have to have the 3 Ds, right? Your due diligence.
Yep.
Right? So due diligence means that we need to learn about how to better not only manage our finances, but we also have to do better at paying ourselves, right? Putting things on auto pay, right? Finding out the best investments for us early on and when we have life changes in different seasons, right?
Yeah.
But that's going to take us to really talk about money and really investigate and research. I think there's like this fear around women and money.
I think women see that as like, oh, we don't really talk about money that much. And I think that they're a little nervous because they feel like, you know, we always get that stigma of women only know how to do a whole lot of shopping for shoes and pocketbooks. You know, and while that might have some sort of truth to it, not that I have a lot of shoes and pocketbooks, but you know, I mean, but let's look at
it's true.
Beyonce, Rihanna.
Yes.
I mean, let's face it, women have come out and have done amazing for themselves.
Yes.
Oprah and all these women that have been pioneers in terms of how they've been, but they've learned how to do, you know, that investing and that wealthy mindset game and have continued to move the needle and are doing exceptionally well. I mean, shout out to Rihanna.
Yes. I mean, she built company, record label, the whole nine. She's been doing it. Hey, she got the cosmetics, the clothing line. That's what I'm talking about. Multiple streams of income, right?
Yeah.
That's on top of her music. Yeah. Right. So there is a lot of that. And it's funny that you bring up affluent women, right?
Of course.
Because besides the Beyoncés and all those, one of the things we learned when the statistics went on that only a quarter, y'all, of affluent women say that they're comfortable making investment and savings related decisions.
A quarter of that.
On their own.
Yeah.
Let that sink in. They are affluent. They have money. So, you know, I'm over here like, I remember when I was in college and I didn't have 2 nickels to rub together, right? And I was stretching money and making it do what it do.
Make it do what it do.
Make it do what it do, right? And I got it. I was making risky decisions about my 2 nickels back then, right? And when I look now, I'm in a different place. You know, I look at my money. It goes back to what you talk about that mindset shift we have to have, right?
And it's got to start early, I think, in the schools. I do think it's important for us to know, because I remember being in high school, my first summer job, I got my whole paycheck and bought me a whole brand new dress. And my mom said, what about lunch and transportation for the week? And I was like, well, isn't that where you come in? And she was like, I'm going to loan you transportation money and pack a peanut butter and jelly sandwich every day for lunch. But it is about the mindset, because I don't think they really teach that in school.
They don't.
I mean, if we were to really go there.
They don't.
And I think for me, establishing the wealthy mindset really starts at a young age, whereby we have to teach our generations that are forthcoming what wealth looks like. And it's not just about money, but how you think about money.
Yep.
How you utilize money, because if you can't manage $100, you're not going to be able to manage $1 million.
What you know, they always talk about like having that. We always talk about having that vision, right? Yeah. Like, what is your vision for your life?
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
What is it that you ultimately want to do? Is that buy a home? Mm-hmm. Is that buy a car and pay it all the way off and and you own it? Do you want to own anything? Do you want to leave a legacy? Yeah. Right? Yeah. And in that legacy, what do you want to leave? Is that a business to your children? Is that an insurance plan? I mean, what does that look like to you? You know, do you want to donate to your school or your alma mater and leave, you know, something on that regard? But we have to talk about these things, and we have to write these things out, and then we have to go out and live those things, right? And I think that comes with that due diligence and also that discernment, right?
We have really to discern, just taking the steps to begin, because I think with this series, what we want to do is we want to leave people to say, I'm about to execute, I'm about to take action, I'm going to make it do what it do, and, you know, move forward. What we want to do is to get you to get off your butt, if you haven't started, and to move and get going, because the powerhouse of guests that we're bringing on to talk about
my goodness.
I mean, the first show is already...
They're not playing. Let me tell you, the people we have lined up,
I can't even tell y'all how good that show was.
These are doers. These are doers. And so we have to be ready to take action. And the funny thing is, as Suzette and I was researching the show, one of the things we talk about, the need for advisors, but not only that, advisors are really realizing they need to deal with women differently. Yeah. Right? That we're a different breed, y'all. Like, when we really get into this and we really do our due diligence and our research and we are determined, right? We really want to know the odds and ends of things. Some of us do. Some of us need to be a little more comfortable speaking it and going and seeking it, right?
Right.
Because we speak that we want to do all these things, but then we need to go and seek out those resources that we need in order to help us get there.
Right.
Listen, I don't want anybody to feel like they should know everything coming into this series or feel bad about it. If you made money mistakes, so have we.
We all have.
We all have made money mistakes, right? I don't want anybody to feel like,
absolutely,
oh my gosh, you know, they're so we didn't get it all together today, right? That took years. It was a process. Us consulting people, getting good advice, talking to others, reading and learning. And that is what this series is all about.
We're planting seeds, people, because this is the season for harvest. So we're about to plant the seeds. So harvest time will be amazing. Yes. And I'm excited because I do think that, you know, as women, we need to be more candid about our spending, our financial security. You know, I mean, things happen, you know, you lose loved ones, you know, you hear so many stories about women being married and didn't know what their husband's financials have until divorce happens. It's like, well, I didn't know what he did with the money.
Not just divorce, girl, but death.
Death happens and you don't know, you know, what's going on because you didn't take the time to sit and have the conversation. Absolutely. And finances can be a bit tricky in relationships because a lot of times, you know, the head of household is usually the man. And, you know, they don't always share a lot of information and you figure, oh, that's his thing. He can handle it. But ask questions.
Yes. It has to be everybody's thing.
It has to be everybody's thing. It can't just be his thing. You know, he might manage the money, but you need to know about where the money is. And I think that that's some of the things that as women, we're just like, oh, you got it, babe. You know, but sometimes you need to know what's going on.
Yeah, no, I think all the time you do. Yeah. I mean, you've been married and I actually am married and I know that I am very involved and you know, we run spreadsheets on a monthly basis and I want to know what the bottom line is. Right. I want to know what we spent money on.
And I totally agree with you.
Because what happens if something happens to my husband, then I need to know what it looks like to run this house.
And where's everything, you know, where are the investments? And I think that that's a key part of, you know, just being in a relationship and understanding all the financial nuances and not being afraid to have those conversations.
Yes, we have to get get comfortable with being uncomfortable about what
oh
we
my
don't
gosh
know.
and what we don't know.
Right?
And then as a single woman investing, I knew that I had to ask more questions about investments because I knew what I knew and I didn't know what I didn't know.
Right.
And just being comfortable with saying, you know, what's more risk, what's a good balance.
Yes.
Your age plays a factor in
Yes,
that,
all of
you
that.
know, and just understanding, you know, that once I get to a certain age, what would that be in terms of my financial security? And I think we all have to, you know, look at things through a different lens. You want freedom to travel, so do I. So we got to start now to really build that financial portfolio.
Yes.
So I'm excited.
I know we like really gave up a lot of information, but we want you to kind of look at the things that we're going to be talking about. We want you to think about building wealth through a business, building wealth, you know, in your investments. We want you to think about building. First of all, I want you to think about managing the money you have today, right? It all starts with managing what you have today well. The discipline of managing what you have today well. And so these are areas that we are going to be touching on over the next however many weeks. We're going to do it until we run out of speakers at this point. Like, but it'll probably be more like 7 or 8 shows. So.
And we talking about global, just, you know, even just wealthy from a global perspective, having, you know, women who are global and talk about building business and just wanting to set the tone for you to understand that you can do it in terms of being a woman with a wealthy mindset.
Yes.
Don't let obstacles get in the way. Where there's a will, there's a way. And remember, we don't fail, we learn.
Amen.
So having someone who has, you know, learned a few lessons about money and finances, I'm excited to share, you know, what I've learned. And, you know, I'm excited for the guests that are going to share with us. So this is a great series and we really hope you can join us and glean from all this information. It is going to be amazing.
And the other thing that we want to just encourage you to do is, even if you're watching the show, take notes, right? There are going to be, we always give resources. One of the things I always ask our guests is to definitely give us resources, because we want to share knowledge with you and we want to know what they're learning from.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Because, you know, I know one of the things I love about doing interviews for this show, and first of all, I don't know if you all know, but Suzette is a global business person and a global leader. And so I love that she is connected to people that are global minded. And this is about getting you guys to expand your mind and realize we are no different than you, right? You can, if we can do it, if we can build brick by brick, and I'm not saying we have it all worked out, because Lord knows I know I'm talking to people and I'm like, oh, I need to talk to her offline, right? And I think that's a great thing, because then you learn when you see other people talking about things that you don't know, you start to learn what you don't know and where your gaps are, right?
And networking to your network. So network to your network. We'll talk about that. Advisors, you know, who's on your team of advisors. We all need women or male advisors to help us when we have that wealthy mindset. Who you're reading, who you're listening to on your podcast. You know, if I were to ask you what were the last 5 books that you read, that is what determines the wealthy mindset.
Yes, it does.
You know, when
I love that you said that, because you know what? I always say that when you walk to somebody's house, you know their mindset by the books on their shelves.
By the books that they're reading.
Or the books they don't have on their shelves.
Right, exactly.
Right.
You know, you talk to some of the top CEOs. I spend a lot of time with executives, like, tell me about a good book that you've read. And 9 out of 10 times they're reading books on things that help them to grow, to be financially secure, or something that works on having them understand self and to be better at self. So, you know, great opportunities, I think, for us to learn and grow as women, and really just kind of look at ourselves that we are bigger than what we even think we are.
Yes. And the funny thing is, it's so funny because in society we get caught up sometimes in the, especially because we're women of color, right? And we hear a lot about the things that limit us, right? But the first thing that limits us is our own mind. Right? We are our own worst enemy sometimes. And we put those limits on ourselves based on what we hear, right? That other people have gone through. But Suzette said this really great earlier. I know when I grew up, there was no talk about investments. There was no talk about 401ks or like stock
Nope.
anything in my house, right? My parents were focused on managing what they had, right?
Absolutely.
Everybody was in survival mode.
Yep.
And one of the things I love about us talking about this with different people is that you will start to see that how you can move from survival mode to thriving mode, right? Into your not just your wealthy mindset, but your wealthy flow.
Yeah.
Right. So you start doing and picking up habits, right? That help you flow into that wealthy mindset, because you'll do something and then you'll be like, oh my gosh, that totally worked. Yeah. Like I could do
getting
like,
into that wealthy flow. And you got to break the generational curse of, thinking, most like how our parents did with paying off the bills. Now we're into a new dynamic, a new stratosphere, and we are pushing
I call it
ball.
Abundant mindset.
Yep, it's abundant mindset.
Where we not only can pay the bills, but we have overflow, right? That we can put into other accounts and put in and sow into other people.
Right.
And I think that's the other part of being wealthy. There's this part of being wealthy means that you have more to overflow into other people. Yep. So now, we say this every week on The Rise, right? Yeah. What we say, keep rising and bring somebody with you. Yep. That bring somebody with you is that abundant mindset, right? Yep. I think that's why God gave me that, because it is that abundant mindset. I never feel like I don't operate out of scarcity, right? Yeah. I think the world, capitalism, they tell you to operate out of scarcity, right? Oh my gosh, there's not enough for everybody. We got to scratch and grind and do all this stuff.
We're not doing that.
We're not doing that, right? Because we believe, and I think this is how you switch into a wealthy mindset, that there's enough for everybody.
And my motto is, I want to sit at the table. I want to come sit with the boys. I want to sit at the table. So what we're going to do in this season is we're going to think wealthy, we're going to act wealthy, and we're going to move forward as wealthy women. Well, so I'm excited.
I want to see, but I also want to build my own table. There you go. Give you.
There you go. And invite more of the women to come
and
to
this
the table.
Is a part, this show is actually a part of having our own table, right? Yeah. This is a table where we can discuss what affects us, right? And so we can have these conversations. We can talk about having a wealth mindset, what that means to us, and we can build together, right? So we want you to feel like this is a space where you can ask us questions in the chat. Let us know what you're thinking. Hit us up on social media. Tell us some of the things that you're dealing with right now, or some of the pressure and pain points for you. Like, I would love to hear that.
We want to hear your questions as our guests are coming on. We want to make sure that we answer all your questions, because I'm really excited for this series. Because and if anybody got Rihanna's phone number, can you ever give us a call? Riri, hit us up. Okay, I know she's watching this.
This girl right
Riri,
here.
Hit us up and let Beyonce come on as well. And does anybody know Oprah? Oprah, come on, girl. We just, you know
what? I'm a true believer. If you put it in the atmosphere, because I'm telling you, there are things that we have put in the atmosphere that have come to fruition. So I'm just going to go there with you and just, whatever you all want to talk about and discuss, please let us know. We've given you our social media and we'll put that up at the end. But in the meantime, we just want to leave you with a couple of resources that have helped us. Like I said, I want to start moving you guys in this direction. So when we're bringing these people in, you're already headed in that direction mentally. Yeah. Suzette said it best. Put it on your, look at a podcast or do something like that. But also, audiobooks are your friend. Yeah. Right? I know it's some of y'all, Yolanda, you give us these resources and they're in book form. I don't have time to read a book. But if you commute, you in a car, because some of us are back at work, right? Or you're sitting at your desk and you could do that. You could put on an audiobook and you could check some of these out. So here's some of the resources that Suzette and I want to leave you with this week.
The one and only
Bishop Jakes. The Bishop.
Soar.
T.D. Jakes. Soar. Yeah.
It's so funny that we actually both thought that was a great book.
It was a great coincidence. It is a mindset book.
Yeah, we love Soar. Soar is a great book.
He is literally talking to you in the book about creating your vision. Yep. And putting it into action. Yep. Right? And helping you determine what that vision is for you. Yep. And that's why I love Bishop T.D. Jakes. He's all about leaving his knowledge and what he's learned to the next generation. And so in this book, that's what he does. Yeah. He talks about great inventions and how you can be one of the great inventors of whatever it is you are creatively. So
So we
I
love
like
SOAR. I think SOAR is great. And there's a workbook that goes with it.
There's a workbook that goes with it. You're absolutely right.
And then can you say remix?
Yes, because that's exactly what the next author did with
Think and Grow Rich.
Napoleon Hill had a book called Think and Grow Rich.
Yep.
And many years later, Dennis Kimbro came along and redid it a Black choice. Yeah. Right? Because you know what? To be wealthy, y'all, is a choice.
Yeah.
You can decide whether you're going to believe that, you know, everybody, like I said, has that scarcity mentality. I don't do crabs in a barrel. So I'm just like, but there's enough for everybody.
Crabs in a barrel? You really just say crabs
I
in
did
a
say
barrel.
crabs
Okay,
in a
I just
barrel.
want to make sure you said
I said crabs in a barrel.
So,
so we don't want to do crabs in a barrel.
Yeah.
I'm saying that's not what we doing.
Yeah.
We doing abundant mindset. And I think and Grow Rich is an abundant mindset book. Listen, this is about reprogramming your brain, right? We want to reprogram you to not go with all the hype about, you know, there's not enough for everybody. There's enough for all of us. That's why we don't have to do that. That's why I can sit here next to my sister and be like, we are helping each other grow and learn and change. And that's where we need to get to. This is our season, y'all. So we need to go ahead and enjoy it.
Yes.
Embrace it.
Yes.
And let's move in it. And then last but not least, we have a website that we'll be posting because it's probably hard to see on the screen, but it's from, I think it's from Business Insider. I can't see. I'm so blind.
Yeah, you're right.
It's from Business Insider, and they have a bunch of personal finance, like the 10 best
personal finance
books by women to read in 2021. And I want to tell y'all, a couple of these authors on here are awesome. We have Grow Your Money, right? Learn how to investing works. Grow Your Money by Bola Sokumbi, and I probably said her name wrong, but y'all can go check out the website.
She's named Bola, Bola. Bola. Okay.
We have another one called On My 2 Feet. A Modern Girl's Guide to Personal Finance by Manisha Thakor, MBA CFA, and Sharon Kadar, MBA CFA. So these women are really telling you, and I love this one from the Budgetnista. I don't know if y'all heard of the Budgetnista, Tiffany. Alish.
Yeah.
She is wonderful. She has a book called 10 Steps to Becoming Financially Whole.
Yep.
And I know her. She is always giving out some good tips.
You
can check her out on Facebook and online. She's great. But we just wanted to leave you with some of these resources so you can just start getting your mind just moving in that direction.
And you all should be reading some type of book on finance. I mean, I think that should be part of your resourcing and learning.
Absolutely. So these are just a few of the things we wanted to drop, and I wanted to introduce my girl Suzette to all of you. We are so excited. We think this is such a timely, a timely series.
It's needed. And I'm so happy to co-pilot with you.
Yes.
And get ready for the next level.
Yes,
ladies.
We are going up together. That's exactly what we wanted to share with you tonight. And so we're just going to go ahead, and we want you to watch for the promo for the first show in the series of Women in Wealth. And we just want you to keep joining us. Like, again, send us your questions, comments. What do you want to see in this Women in Wealth series? Let us know. We're excited and ready to go. So, how's that, Suzette?
I'm ready. Riri, call me. Beyonce, call me.
Pray for her. This girl is tired and punch drunk. So, we're going to end the show like we always end the show every week. Keep rising and bring someone with you. That's what we did.
Love you.
We'll see y'all next week. Love y'all.
See ya. Bye. On the rise.